she does. Okay. She does a sloppy translation and says, oh, cannabis was used in the Bible. And then everybody picks it up and holds onto it tight, and nobody bothers to hear the correction. This is from hashmuseum.com. There's evidence of its place as a sacred plant in Buddhism, Shintoism, Sufism, and among the Bantu and Pygmy, Zulu, and Hottentot tribes of Africa. They include Christianity in that list. Okay, they say there's evidence that it was used in Christianity. And let me debunk that right now. It is not used in the Bible. It is not in Christianity. So here's the lady who started this lovely misinterpretation here. Okay, so she's her name is Sula Benet, and there's a longer name, but she shortened it to that. She lived in 1903 to 1982. She's a Polish anthropologist, like studies other cultures, not a linguist. That is so important to know, because here's what she does. Okay, she does a sloppy translation and says, oh, cannabis was used in the Bible, and then everybody picks it up and holds onto it tight and says, yep, definitely in the Bible. This is one is in the Bible. And nobody bothers to hear the correction. Let me read you about her a bit. She got her doctorate from the University of Warsaw. Her thesis was Hashish in Folk Customs and Beliefs. She got a PhD at Columbia University in 1943, taught at Hunter College in New York City. And she was lecturing in Warsaw in 1936 when she first proposed the idea that cannabis was used in the Bible. And she continued to stand by that throughout her career. So here's what she did. This information is from forthechurch.co, ftc.co. And so where she's looking is in Exodus 30. 23 to 24. And this is the recipe for anointing oil. This is a New Living Translation, so they put it in pounds, to make it more relatable. So it says, then the Lord said to Moses, collect choice spices, 12.5 pounds of pure myrrh, 6 1/4 pounds of each of cinnamon and of sweet cane, 12.5 pounds of cassia, and 1 gallon of olive oil. Blend these ingredients into a holy anointing oil. And we'll return to that later, because anointing oil is awesome. But she was looking at this sweet cane, okay? And she was looking at the original Hebrew word. So there's the Hebrew word, and don't ask me to pronounce it correctly, and I couldn't get the accents and stuff on there, sorry. I'm going to say Qaneh-Bosem. Qaneh-Bosem. I'm going to say that. Sounds like, so her argument was that it sounds like cannabis, Qaneh-Bosem, cannabis. Oh, they sound similar. She was playing fast and loose with the background of other words in Sanskrit, Assyrian, Persian, and Arabic. Benet essentially claims that the Hebrew term sounds a lot like cannabis. Like, she's basing it on different languages, right? And she's like, and look, these other languages have the same cognate. But no. In high school, I learned French and then Spanish. And it's great when you find a cognate that sounds the same in English as it does in that language. And then when you learn two languages, like if you hear one that sounds like the Spanish word and it's the French word, you're like, oh, you can make that connection, right? It's great. But sometimes it's misleading. And this happens a lot in languages. So you have a word that sounds just like something, you're like, oh, I could make that connection. And it super doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean the same thing. So sometimes you have them where they sound similar and sometimes you don't. They don't mean the same thing. So Qaneh-Bosem sounds like cannabis, is not cannabis. So this is from a website of someone who knows linguistics. Okay. Remember that Susa is not a linguist. She's an anthropologist. She studies cultures. Okay. But here we have the actual language that this word is from. And it's the lexicon of the Old Testament. In other words, like kind of like the Webster's dictionary, like the end all be all of what a word means. And the lexicon says, referring to a type of balsam oil, aromatic resins derived from certain plants, which are not including cannabis. Okay. So you'll notice it's like an evergreen type plant. I think they crush up the needles to get it. So, anywho, Sula is not a linguist, and she made a big assumption that that is still alive today. People honestly keep saying that. So it's not.